Hare Krishna, everyone. Let us start. Okay, I'll start with the revision of yesterday's session. Okay, so the yesterday session was is Bhagavad Gita relevant today? So I'm just presenting my screen. So let me know once you are able to see my screen. So do you see my screen?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji, we can see.
Okay. Okay. As we discussed, so this course, Life's Amazing Secret, is based on seven topics. Okay, so in 7 days we'll be covering seven different topics. So yesterday we covered is Gita 11 today, and today we'll be covering topic Gita summarized. So going ahead with the revision. So yesterday we discussed about the background of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so when the Bhagavad Gita was spoke, just a minute, let me admit. Okay, so we discussed when the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. So it was covering seven different topics. So yesterday we covered is Gita 11 today, and today we'll be covering topic Gita summarized. So we saw that Bhagavad Gita was spoken at the Battle of Kurukshetra 5,000 years ago, and we saw that it was spoken by Lord Krishna to his devotee Arjun when he was in a situation whether to fight or not. So we saw why and how Bhagavad Gita is relevant in today's time as well. Okay, so we saw 10 top reasons. So the first reason was quick solution. Okay, so whenever we face any issue, we think about the problem and we try to find out the solution. But most of the time, it takes a long time to find out the solution. Even if we find some solution, the solution may not be the correct one. So sometimes we do mistake and choose the incorrect solution. So Bhagavad Gita gives us the right solution for all the problems, and it saves time. Okay, so we do not need to experiment what can be the solution for this problem. So Bhagavad Gita gives solution to all the problems of life. Okay, so that was the first point. And the second point is that truth that never changes. So whatever is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, so it is relevant today. Okay, so it's absolute truth. So we saw the difference between absolute truth and relative truth. So Bhagavad Gita gives a knowledge which is absolute truth that never changes. Okay, so it was applicable for 5,000 years ago, and it is applicable now, and it will be applicable 5,000 years ahead as well. Okay, so it does not change according to time, place, and circumstances. Then the third point which we saw is that it is applicable to everyone. So there is Bhagavad Gita does not discriminate between any nationality, caste, creed. So it is for everyone. Okay, because Bhagavad Gita is said to be a manual of life. Okay, it's said to be a manual of human life, rather we can say. So it is applicable to everyone, for every community, for every gender, for every religion, and for every age. That's the third point we saw. Then the fourth point, that it is required for living peacefully or happily. So the main purpose of our living is that we should live happily. Okay. So, but there are so many stress in our life, so many tensions, so many anxiety, depression, maybe due to our own mind or due to someone else. Okay. So due to family problems, due to job problems, due to various problems, maybe in student life the problem can be different. In married life the problems can be different, and then in old age the problems are different. So at every age, if we see that the problems are different and we are suffering. Okay, so everyone is suffering. So in further sessions we'll discuss about the real sufferings of life, but how do we overcome with these sufferings? Okay, so that we saw. So Bhagavad Gita gives us a knowledge that we overcome our all this stress, anxiety, and depression, and we can become happy. Okay. So the next topic we discussed that overcoming vices and demonic propensities. So if you see nowadays, the demonic propensity is increasing day by day. So the crime is increasing, then robberies, everything is increasing. Okay. So we need to understand why the demonic propensities is increasing day by day. Okay. If we just analyze it, we'll see that the people are becoming uh, they are not God centered, and they are going away from spirituality. So that's the reason the demonic propensity is increasing. As soon as we come closer to God or we become spiritual, so the demonic propensities reduces. Okay. So then the next one is identifying good. Okay. So we must know what is good and what is bad. Okay. So we must know why we should be divine, why we should be doing good. Okay. So since childhood, we teach our parents taught us that we should be doing good. We should not do any bad activities. So similarly, we teach our children as well that this is bad, this is good. Okay. So and we want our children, and our parents also wanted us to become good. Okay. So what is good? Okay, so how do we identify what is good, and how we can promote good? Okay, so what is the healthy lifestyle? Then what is the higher taste? So Bhagavad Gita teaches us the same. Okay, so how to identify? So Bhagavad Gita tells about different nature. Okay, based on our what we do. Okay, so that's the sixth point we discussed, and the seventh point, it's real integrity. So we saw yesterday that every living being has equal rights of living. So we saw example of various living beings like cow, dog. So they are also living being, and they have equal right same as human beings. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita teaches us that everyone has equal rights. Okay. Then the next point we discuss is that mind control and focus. So nowadays the mind is very disturbed because of all the sufferings which we are having. So the Bhagavad Gita gives us a very good. There are few chapters where Bhagavad Gita tells us how can we control mind. Okay, so we'll see it going further. So the next point is that scientific organization of society. So nowadays we see that this society is based on birth. Okay, but Bhagavad Gita teaches us that um, y- your qualities are means your rights is based on your qualities. Okay, so we'll see it in details. Okay, then the last point we saw that Bhagavad Gita gives us the ultimate solution to every problem of life. Okay, So we saw that Abhavarga and Bhagavad Gita helps us to uproot all the problems in life. So it by giving a exact solution. Okay, so we saw in the first point that Bhagavad Gita gives us the exact solution. So we don't need to experiment what can be the solution of this problem. So Bhagavad Gita gives us a clear cut solution for every life, every problems of our life. All, all we discussed yesterday. And today, our speaker is Jagdish Majetia Prabhu. So he'll be guiding us to with the topic, second topic, that is Gita summarized. So I request Jagdish Prabhu to please continue.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
So I'll just give
Hare
a
Krishna.
yeah, I'll just give introduction of Prabhuji. So Prabhuji is working as a senior manager in Infosys for more than 15 years, and he is following spirituality. He's for almost more than 15 20 years. Okay, so I request Prabhuji to please guide us.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Very good morning to all of you. I'm so happy that we are together on this Sunday morning. Okay, and my apologies for the delay. Actually, I was having another meeting, so just finished that and I got little delayed. So thank you, Nilesh Prabhu, for doing a revision of the first session. Okay, so
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandvat
Hare
Pranam.
Krishna. Dandal Pranam, Nilesh Prabhu. Thank you. So, Nilesh Prabhu, have you done the Mangalacharan or we can start with Mangalacharan? Okay. Did you do a Kirtan, small Kirtan? Okay, just we'll start with the 2 minutes Kirtan then. Okay, just give me a minute. I'll get myself out. Sorry. So I'll keep the video on, but in case if the because of the network, if the voice is breaking, then maybe you can let me know, and then maybe we can just be on audio. Yeah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्यादिशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha. Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radha. Jaya Gauranita Gauranita. Gauranita Jaya Gauranita Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Harinam Sankirtan. So, Nilesh Prabhu, can you present the Mangalacharan? We'll all start quickly. Is the voice quality okay, Nilesh Prabhu? Okay.
Good, sir.
Uh, do you have otherwise? Okay, okay. Yeah, no problem. So, see, basically, uh, just wanted to give a brief, why we start with the kirtan. Okay, so kirtans are basically we are chanting the names of the Lord. Okay, and anything which we do in our life, we start with these names. Whenever we chant the names, it brings an auspiciousness for everything and anything we do in our life. Okay, so that's why we should always start all our work with a small kirtan or a remembrance of the Lord. Okay, so that's very important aspect. Okay, and now what we are reading now, this is Mangalacharan. So when we try to read Bhagavad Gita today, we are going to see the overview of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so we really, before approaching Bhagavad Gita, we have to basically humble ourselves and really pray intensely to the Lord and all his representatives through whom we are receiving this Bhagavad Gita. So this Mangalacharan is actually a prayers to the acharyas, to the Lord, and we will all chant this together now. Okay. So Ruji, maybe you can increase the font so that a little bit if possible. Okay. So we'll all chant together. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरक्षे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री मंगलाचरण की जय। Yeah, so we'll start with the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhuji, can you just share the PDF for yeah. Yes. So this is a soft copy of the Bhagavad Gita. This month is a Margashish month. This is a very, very important month. In Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, Lord says, Masanam Margashisham. He says, of amongst all the months, I am the month Margashish. Okay. So this month is very important, and if you come to temple or if you go out, you will meet devotees, who will be distributing this Bhagavad Gita to everyone. Okay, and we are so fortunate that in this month we are now studying this Bhagavad Gita. So soft copy is okay, but if you all have a hard copy with you, please refer that, and maybe you can make notes out of that. Or if you don't have, please get your copy. Okay, and then start studying this, very scrutinizing. This is like a science. We all have studied in our engineering, medical, whatever we is our qualification. There is always a very systematic study required in each and every aspect. So when it comes to Bhagavad Gita, which is the most important aspect, most important part of our life, then definitely we will also need a scrutinizing study. Okay, question answers, discussions, debates, all these things, when it comes together, then only it will really bring out the best. Okay, so what we will do is, I'll just give a brief. I think many of you would already be knowing this. Okay, but just a quick revision in a few minutes. So Bhagavad Gita, as we see, it has 18 chapters. Okay, and total 700 shlokas are there in Bhagavad Gita across these 18 chapters. Okay, so this Bhagavad Gita, as we know, was spoken by Lord Krishna to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Okay, and then we see that the Arjuna was completely bewildered. Okay, he was not knowing what to do, and that is the time when Bhagavad Gita was narrated to Arjuna. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita, out of 18 shloka, 18 chapters, typically the senior devotees say we can divide it into three parts: the first six chapters, the middle six chapters, and the last six chapters. Okay, so the middle six chapters are like, this is like a sandwich, which is like the middle six chapters are the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Of course, Bhagavad Gita, the theme runs throughout the Bhagavad Gita, right from the first chapter to the last chapter. The message which Lord is giving is quite loud and clear. It is just that we need to align ourselves to that message, and then try to digest in a proper perspective, proper mood, and proper consciousness. Then we can really understand the message from the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, we cannot study the whole 18 chapters now in the next 1 hour or so. Okay, but what we will try to do is, we will try to pick and choose some of the important shlokas. All shlokas are important, but some shlokas which we can start off. Okay, so I would request you to please have your pen, notepad ready, and some of the shlokas you can note it down, and then do some homework, study it during the next week, and then when we come back again and meet on Saturday, Sunday next, you can be ready with your comments or any questions you have in this regard. Okay, so don't worry, even if you don't understand completely from this, it is the first step we are taking. We have a parallel programs running where we discuss each and every chapter for one or more sessions. So that kind of studies also will be taken after maybe this course. Okay, some of the I see the like Naresh Prabhu and Narhari Aher Prabhu, some of them are already attending the other courses which are parallelly going on Bhagavad Gita. So the focus would be today, next 1 hour, we go through the key shlokas which are required to be, as a starting point for Bhagavad Gita. We should focus on them and try to understand those shlokas in our life. Okay. So let's start with the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita and the very first shloka of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So at least we will cover the first shloka and last shloka, and then in between whatever Krishna wants, we will try to cover up. Okay, as and when we get inspiration. So you all are welcome to please ask questions, add your realizations, add your comments. If you have come across some incidents, some aspects which would add value here, it will help everyone to learn about from the shlokas. Please feel free to stop, and then you can please speak, share your realizations. Okay, so the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita, okay, out of 700 shlokas, okay, the first shloka is spoken by Dhritarashtra. Okay, and this is the only shloka which is spoken by Dhritarashtra in the whole Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so what is he saying? He's saying Dhritarashtra Vacha means Dhritarashtra said, okay, in Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre Samaveta Yuyutsavaha Mamaka Pandavaschaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. So he is asking Sanjaya. What is he asking? He's saying on this battlefield of Kurukshetra, okay, this is a pilgrimage place of Kurukshetra. After my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled, desiring to fight, what did they do? So this is the starting point for Bhagavad Gita, where Dhritarashtra is inquiring from Sanjaya. Okay, and everybody knows Sanjaya had a divine vision where he could sit in front of Dhritarashtra, and then he can do a live telecast of what is happening in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So he had been given that divine vision by his guru. Okay, so with that he was able to describe everything to Dhritarashtra. Okay, so this is the first log here. If you see, the Pandavas, okay, had lost their father, okay, by this time, and they were actually Dhritarashtra was the acting father for them. Okay, but here Dhritarashtra is making the distinguish. He's saying Mamaka Pandava. He's saying my sons and the sons of Pandu. So that kind of differentiation is bringing in, and one of the senior devotees was telling that this is kind of when we come and mera tera jab karna chalu kar dete hain yahan pe, so that becomes little difficult, and then the subsequent, there are no other shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, so that was on a lighter side. But yes, this is the first shloka of Bhagavad Gita which Dhritarashtra says. And then in the first chapter, which is named as Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra, if you see, there are descriptions given for the fighters from each side, and then Arjuna asked the Lord to take his chariot between the two armies. And when the Lord takes the chariot, then Arjuna sees, oh, who is standing in front of me? So he sees, oh, Dronacharya, Bhishma, all this, and different, all my relatives are there. And then he completely gets bewildered. He says, what am I fighting this for? If I fight this battle and all of these people I'm going to kill, and then in return I'm going to get this, kingdom, what is the use? So what is the use of such a kingdom? So then he completely gets bewildered, and then in the first chapter he explains to Lord that oh, we were doing a big mistake. We should not be fighting this battle. Even it is going to be very sinful if I go and fight this battle and kill all these relatives of mine and then achieve. Okay, So this is why it is relevant in our life, okay? Because in our life also, if we see day to day, we face across so many challenges in our life. We get bewildered, what we should do, what we should not do. Sometimes we feel whatever seems to be right as per the dharma, we feel no, it is not right. It is better, let me back out from it. It is better to save the situation. So that kind of compromises we keep doing, and we get bewildered, and then we take wrong decisions in life. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita basically teaches us that when it comes to decision making in life, how we should refer our decisions based on the solid foundation of the sadhu guru and shastra. Hmm? So sadhu means the who are practicing this science. Okay, and then shastras like Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, different scriptures, like different other religions have their own scriptures. Okay, like Bible is there, Quran is there. Okay, so such scriptures are basically like a guiding principle. Okay, so when they read these scriptures, understand it properly from somebody who is really spending their life understanding, and then trying to give the correct message out of it, okay, that we can get and then lead our life accordingly. Then we will be properly guided. Okay, so the first chapter is all about this only, where Arjuna is lamenting for this situation which has arisen on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Okay, and then after, if you see first chapter, not a single shloka is spoken by Lord Krishna. Okay, all the shlokas are spoken. First is spoken by Dhritarashtra, then Sanjaya speaks, then Arjuna speaks. So not a single shloka is spoken. So Lord Krishna starts speaking in the second chapter. Okay, so in the very second chapter, the Lord speaks first, and then he chastises Arjuna. He says, why you are behaving like this? You are like a weak-hearted person you are behaving. Okay, and he chastises, and then Arjuna again, basically says that I am finding it very difficult. So the turning point of Bhagavad Gita is second chapter, 7th shloka. So after Arjuna basically gives all these excuses why he should not fight this battle of Kurukshetra and against his relatives. This is the 7th shloka, which is very important, where Arjuna speaks. He says, Karpanya dosho pahata sabhava prichhami tvam dharma samudha chetaha yashreyasyanishchitam brohitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapannam. So what he's saying is Karpanya dosho. Karpanya is very miserly. Dosh means weakness. So he's saying, I am very confused about my duty because of this, miserly weakness. He's saying, I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. Okay, so now what is important is when he knows that I have lost my composure, I am confused about my duty, which happens to us also in our day-to-day life. So what has to be done in that condition? So in this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now this is the most important aspect. What he is doing is, he is not behaving the way his mind is dictating. He is saying, now Krishna, I am asking you to tell me what is best for me. And he's saying, now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So if you see here, Arjuna was so far a friend of Lord Krishna. And here he is accepting Shishyaste aham. He is saying, Shishya, I am your Shishya. And Shadi mam tvam prapannam. He is saying, I am a soul surrendered to you now. I am completely surrendered to you. So please instruct me. So this is a role change in Bhagavad Gita. Earlier, the role was two friends talking, and now a guru and a disciple is talking. So Arjuna has taken a position of a disciple and asked Krishna to be his guru and then instruct him. So now onwards, then Krishna start speaking about the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, and the first instruction of Bhagavad Gita, which is the most key instruction in our life, and in fact the whole humanity, would be the instructions which the first instruction which gives is from second chapter 12th shloka onwards. Okay, this is a very important shloka where Lord says, this is spoken by Lord Krishna. So he says, Natve evaham jatunasham natvam neme janadipaha nachaiva na bhavishyama sarve vayamataparam. He's saying, never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. Now, what is this knowledge? This knowledge is basically bringing us out of our understanding that we are this body. Okay, so we always identify ourselves with this body and all the designations which are related to this body. Okay, so basically when we misidentify ourselves, okay, we are, what Lord Krishna is saying is, we are not the body here, we are the soul. Okay, so the first and most important instruction of Bhagavad Gita which is coming is the existence of the soul, and we are the spirit souls and we are not this body. Okay, so this, and we are eternal. Okay, we are existing before and we will exist in future. We existed earlier maybe in a different body. Now we are having this body maybe related to a man, women, some national, some so-called faith we follow, but essentially we are spirit soul who is engaged in this body. Okay, and how do we understand this, that we are the soul, we are not this body? So that is explained in the next verse, which is X13. So here Lord Krishna says, Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yovanam jara तथा देहांतर प्राप्तिर धीरस तत्र नमयति. So he is saying, soul which is engaged in the body, it goes through different phases. It goes through like kaumaram. Kaumaram means the childhood, boyhood, kaumar avastha. Then yavanam. Yavanam means the youth avastha. And then jara. Jara in Sanskrit means old age. So as the body changes from Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara, we all know, right? When we were a small child, we had a very tender body. If some relatives comes and meets us after many years, he says, "Arey, kitna badal gaya hai tu? Bilkul pehchan mein hi nahi aa raha." Why? Because our body has changed. We had very tender, soft hands, and we looked very different. And now we have grown youth, and we are very different. And after some years, this body is going to change and we are going to become an old. And even medical science confirms that, every second we are changing the cells, and every 7 years basically all the cells of our body change. Okay, so that kind of transformations are happening in our body. So what it is saying is, the way we change our body in this lifetime only, from Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara, उसी प्रकार तथा देहांतर प्राप्ति, जब देह का अंत हो जाता है, then what it achieves another. So similarly it passes to another body at the time of death. And धीरस तत्र न मुह्यति. धीर मतलब a sober person. A sober person, tatra na muhyati, he does not get bewildered by such a change. He understands that, okay, I had earlier I had body, now I was a small child, I had a particular type of body, I have grown up, now I have a particular body. When this body is going to dwindle, it is going to worn out, okay, and then one day this body will be finished, okay, and the soul will pass into another body, okay. So that is the most important teaching of Bhagavad Gita, that when we live our life, we should not be very narrow-minded and just think of the current situation. The current lifetime is just a flash in the eternity or lifetime which we have. So we should not be very narrowly thinking about only this lifetime, but we should think from an overall perspective, that how I am progressing on my eternal journey. How am I progressing? Am Am I really making the correct moves, or am I just very this particular situation I'm just trying to make compromises, give away on the values, and then just spoiling this and the subsequent lives. So that kind of important aspect will come. We will discuss this soul aspect in a very detailed way. Next Saturday's session is completely dedicated to this topic of soul. Okay. So subsequent, there is one very important shlok which is one of my favorite shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, which is 2.14. So this 2.14 is a very, very important shlok. Okay, we should all try to by heart because it is such a hope-giving shloka and gives actually the practicality of what we are going through in today. So the shloka says, Matra sparshastu kaunteya, shitoshna sukha kadaha. Agamapaino anityas tam stitikshashva bharata. So what it is saying is matra sparsha, a sense perception, everything is coming out of this sense perception. What? Shita ushna, whatever shita means thandi, ushna means garmi. So whatever this thandi garmi is coming and going, similarly happiness and distresses are coming and going in our life. And they are all non-permanent. Now the winter season is going on. So we know it is just a matter of December, January that we will have this winter season and there will be cold around. But as soon as we step in February and March, it will start getting really the temperature will rise and summer will start coming. And then the temperature will be very high. And then again, we should not feel that, oh, this is going to be for there. Within few months, we know again the summer will go away. So Bhagavad Gita says that the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. And they arise from sense perception. O sign of Bharata means Arjuna, Lord is addressing. And the most important thing is this last line. Lord is saying one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So this is very important. We should see we cannot solve these problems completely. That we should understand. Okay. So we have to tolerate many of these things in our life. Okay. If we waste our life just to find solutions to this temporary problems of life, then the real problems of our life will be left out. And the whole life will be spent just to try to find solutions to this temporary problems. Okay. So this is very, very important shlokas. Okay. So 2.14 you can note down. Any questions, any comments so far? Okay. So you can ask the questions at the end also, or or you can just put it in a chat if you have any questions, and we can take up even from the chat those questions.
Guruji,
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, Harish Prabhu.
When you said temporary problems, how would I know whether this problem is temporary or is an perpetual problem?
Okay, good, very good question, Prabhu. So Shastra says, Harish Prabhu, that essentially all these are symptoms what we see the problems. Okay, real problems are different, which we will discuss in the fourth session. What are the real problems of life? Okay, and according to Shastra. Okay, but it's essentially, if you see in this world, we might not be going through ourselves also, but by and large, if you see, all the things in this world are very much changing. Okay, even the problems keep changing, the nature of the problems keep changing. Okay, so everything in this material world is temporary. Why it is temporary? Again, we will see in the 8th chapter, Lord himself says that this is dukhalayam ashashvatam. Okay, he's saying this material world is dukhalaya and it is ashashvat. Ashashvat means temporary. So everything in this material world is temporary. Whether we take our own body or house or vehicle or a car or whatever you take, it is going to come new, and then within few years it is going to deteriorate, and then one day it will be not usable anymore. Okay, so so everything in this world is like temporary. It is just going to going through it. What are the real problems? So Shastra in Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter, Lord says the real problems are janma mrityu jara vyadi dukkha doshanudarshanam. So there are four real problems which we should try to find solution in this life which we have got in this human form of life, which is Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So I'm just giving a name of the problem currently. In the fourth session, that is next Sunday's session, we will discuss in detail about this. Okay, is that fine, Harish Prabhu?
Yeah, thank you, Guruji.
Prabhuji,
Thank you.
Naresh here. Can I share one
Yes,
realization?
yes, Harish Prabhu,
Yeah,
please.
yeah. Prabhuji, this shloka is my personal favorite also. And personally speaking, I get a lot of inspiration, and in my during my lows time, I whenever I am reading Bhagavad Gita, I make sure that I go through this particular shlok, the purport, and the translation and the purport. So actually, if we read it, it looks very simple, but when we realize that this particular shloka is coming from Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we get a realization that everybody here will have highs and lows, but the important fact is that how we are coding our mind. And if we know in our mind that these things are all temporary in nature, like the way Lord Krishna is saying, that is the best way of handling any situation. And that is what is meant. And we also realize, as we read Bhagavad Gita, that we know that we are a body, and soul is eternal. So whatever problems are coming, these are only limited to our body, but actually we are the soul, and nobody can disturb the soul. So overall, the realization is very good. And this particular shloka, this is something which everybody should just code it in your mind. And always remember that Lord Krishna himself said that these problems, these happiness, these sorrows, everything is temporary in nature. And the and the person who remains unbewildered with happiness and sorrow, he is the person who is more dear to Lord Krishna.
Correct. Yes, right, Naresh Prabhu. Thank you for sharing the realization. So it is very important. See, Bhagavad Gita, as Naresh Prabhu was telling, it is very important that Bhagavad Gita is knowledge, but that knowledge is actually, we will see in the ninth chapter, it is said that it is a Vigyan. There is a difference between Gyan and Vigyan. Okay, Gyan is knowledge, Vigyan is applied knowledge. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita is applied knowledge. So whatever is there in Bhagavad Gita, we can actually practically apply in our life and then see the transformations in our life. So Bhagavad Gita is actually for transforming our lives. And we have seen over the last many years, whoever has taken shelter and even partially tried to implement this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in their life, 100% their life has transformed. 100%. And not after many years, within few months. Okay, it is that kind of science. It is not that this science will work for one person and it will not work for other person. Science means it will work for everyone. Whoever practices this in their life, they will definitely 100% get benefit. Their lives will be transformed. Okay, so that kind of assurity is there. Okay, and we have seen, and this is like practice across the world. In every country of the world you go, you will find Bhagavad Gita, people practicing sincerely this Bhagavad Gita, and you go and meet them and you will see that they are completely transformed. They are same understanding, same, whoever, somebody who is there in this temple who is reading Bhagavad Gita, and the realizations which he has, and somebody in Russia or US or Japan, they will have the same realizations. That's really what confirms that yes, this is a science which is there for transforming the lives. Okay, so okay, we are just still on the second chapter only, so we'll just move a little. We'll try to cover a few more important shlokas. So basically, here second chapter talks about the. So now, if you go onwards from 20, 21, 22, and all those shlokas, basically there we will see that the characteristics of the souls are given. Huh? So like 2.22, very beautiful shlok, very simple. See how simple Bhagavad Gita is there. This is, I think, very simple shloka. What it says is Vasamsi Jirnani Yatha Vihaya. Vasamsi means vastra. Jirnani means जीर्ण हो गए, हम लोग कहते हैं कि जीर्ण हो गए मतलब worn out, old हो गए. So वासांसी जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि. जब आपके वस्त्र it becomes old, then what do? You get new clothes, new garments. वासांसी जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि सम्याति नवानि देहि. उसी तरीके से जब sharir becomes jirna, then you take up a new sharir, you take up a new body. So that as simple as that. Just read the translation. It is very simple. Nilesh, you want to read? You are on mute. Okay.
Similarly, accepts new material bodies, giving up the old and useless ones.
Very simple and see how simple Bhagavad Gita is. Very simply, Lord is explaining with an analogy. Very simple. So similarly, if you see 23 also, वहाँ पे बताया नैनम चिंदन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनम दहति पावका. So 23rd shloka again says, what are the characteristics of this soul? The soul cannot be burned by fire. It cannot be cut by any weapon. So that is 2.23. Okay. So similarly, in subsequent shlokas, again the different characteristics of souls are given. Okay, that how soul is eternal. Okay, so this is the first and foremost teaching of Bhagavad Gita. When we understand this knowledge of soul, okay, then it starts the journey of self-realization. Then we align ourselves that okay, I am a spirit soul. Then okay, I am a spirit soul. Then what am I? Okay, so that is also given in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so one of the main subjects of Bhagavad Gita is this Jiva. Okay, so there are 5 main subjects which are covered in Bhagavad Gita. So Jiva is one of those subjects. So it is talking about that Jiva is a spirit soul and it is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Now, where is it given in Bhagavad Gita that it is part and parcel of the Lord? So if you go to the 15th chapter, maybe we'll jump a little bit, okay, and try to come back. So can you go to 15th chapter, Prabhuji? 15th chapter, I think 7th shlok, I think. Yeah, 7th shlok. So 15.7, Lord says, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Mama in Sanskrit means me, my. Mama. Amsha means fragmental parts. So what Lord is saying is all the living entities are my part and parts. They are eternally my fragmental parts. Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Mana Shasthani Indriyani Prakristani Karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. And due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. So we have 5 senses. We all know 5 senses we have. But the mind is considered as the 6th sense. And mind is also considered as the master of all the senses. Okay. So about mind also, which is very relevant, there is a very nice shlokas given in Bhagavad Gita. So maybe we will go with this flow, as now we have come so far that this 15th chapter talks about how we are eternally part and parcel of Lord. Okay, and Lord is saying there are 6 senses which include the mind. What does Bhagavad Gita talk about mind? Okay, so we'll try to see about mind. So first maybe Nilesh Prabhu, can you open 7.4, please? Okay, so this 7.4 shloka talks about what are the different separated energies of the Lord. Hmm? It says, Bhumi Rapo Analo Vayu Kham Mano Buddhi Revacha Ahankara Iti Yamme Bhinna Prakriti Ashtada. So there are 8 separated energies Lord is talking about, material energies. So what are these? Bhumi. Bhumi means earth. Apa means water. Anala means fire. Vayu, air. Kham means ether. These are the 5 gross elements, and then there are 3 subtle elements, which is mana, mind, buddhi, intelligence, and ahankar, false ego. So these 8 are together constitute my separated energies. And what we are made of, our body is made of, is these 8 things. Okay, we see in our body earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then we have a subtle body, which is mind, intelligence, and false ego. So we'll discuss this topic in more detail in the third session, very, very elaborately. What is this? Just I wanted to give a. So here, Lord is explaining that mind is one of the energies out of those 8. Okay. Now, if you go to the 6th chapter, okay, there are very nice description is given about the mind. No problem. 6th chapter, you have to go. Yeah, I think 6.5. Yeah. So in this, maybe we'll read the translations quickly in the interest of time. Okay. So Lord is saying one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. Now see, this is a very beautiful statement here. Lord is saying mind is a friend of the conditioned soul and his enemy as well. Very interestingly, how can somebody be your friend and your enemy as well? Very difficult, right? Either somebody will be your friend or somebody will be your enemy. But Lord is saying, so how this is possible? So that is given in the next shloka. Where Lord says, for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So how practical? Now see this, if we understand, so how important it is to regulate the mind. So mind will take us to different places and it will always give us do this, do that, do that. Mind is compared like a monkey. Okay, have you seen means monkey will keep jumping, right, from one branch to another. So exactly similarly, mind basically keeps jumping from one thing to another, one thing to another. But what we have to do is we have to regulate the mind. And how do we regulate the mind? So that is known as meditation, through meditation, and there are various techniques through which we can regulate our mind. Okay. In fact, this mantra, which we do mantra meditation. So mantra means mantrayate iti mantra. One which delivers the mind is known as mantra. Okay, so mantra helps one to deliver the mind and regulate the mind. Okay, so it is this 6th chapter, which is a Dhyan Yoga. Okay, very profoundly talks about the mind. You know, a lot of shlokas are there, which is very like this one, which we this one which we saw. Then I think 26th shloka in this 6th chapter only talks about what we should do about. Yeah, so this is very nice shloka, which says, Yato yato nishchalati manaschanchalam astiram tatas tato niyamam yete atmanya eva vasam nayat. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. So some of you who are practitioners of this meditation, you can understand, right? When we try to meditate, that's when this mind becomes very active, very, very active. And it tries to deviate us from, our meditation and the things which we want to focus. So it keeps taking us here and there. Okay. So what Bhagavad Gita Lord saying is that mind is flickering and unsteady and one must withdraw it. So it will keep going like a small child. If you see You ask the small child to sit down at one place. It will not sit. It will start going into some. Then again you bring him back and say, okay, baitho idhar. Again it will go. Again you have to bring it back. Otherwise it will just, make a nuisance everywhere, So that's how we have to regulate our mind. Wherever and whenever it wanders, we have to withdraw it and bring it back under the control of self. We should decide higher intelligence level. We should decide how we want to run. So it is said that the all our five senses are like the five horses of a chariot. Okay, and all the senses have to be tied with a mind. Mind is the master. It's like Rhine, जो रस्सी पांचों घोड़ों को कंट्रोल कर रही है, that is the mind, and that rassi should be in the hands of the driver, which is the intelligence. So we should use our intelligence and then regulate our mind, and then once we regulate our mind, our senses will automatically become regulated. So this is a very important teaching from Bhagavad Gita about mind. There are many other shlokas which are there. Then Arjuna asked one question, okay, in 6.30. Yeah, so this is a very beautiful picture. Thank you, Nilesh Prabhu, for pulling this out. So see here, these five horses are compared to the five senses, eyes, nose, ears, tongue. So and then this lines this are compared to mind, and the intelligence is the driver. And we are soul, we are just a passenger, or we are sitting in that chariot and experiencing all these things which is going on. Just imagine if mind is not proper, then the horses will run in all directions. One sense will go for one direction, second sense will go in second direction, and the chariot will not go forward. Okay, so that's why all the senses have to be regulated under mind, and mind has to be regulated under intelligence. Okay, so Nilesh, can you go to the 6.34 or 35? I think 34. 34. So this is a question raised by Arjuna. If you see 33 onwards, Arjuna raised a question. So we'll quickly read the translation from 6.33 and 34. Can you go to 33 also, Prabhu? Yeah. So here Arjuna Vacha. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, means Krishna is addressing, the system of yoga which you have summarized, like Dhyan Yoga going on currently, he says appears impractical. Arjuna is telling Krishna that whatever this Dhyan Yoga you are mentioning to me, it appears impractical and unendurable to me. He's saying, I don't think I can be able to successfully do this, because the mind is restless and unsteady. And then the next shloka, he says, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramadi balvadranam tasyaham nigraham manye vayureva sadushkaram. This is very important shloka, where Arjuna says, for the mind is restless, turbulent. It is just not restless, it is turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. It is not weak. कैसे बैठा पकड़ के बैठा दिया कि भैया चलो बैठो इधर. No, it is very, very strong. मानेगा ही नहीं आपकी बात. Very, very strong, very obstinate. Oh Krishna, and to subdue it, to subdue mind, I think is more difficult than controlling the wind. He says, I can one time control the wind, but it is very difficult to, control the mind. And who is speaking this? Arjun, who is a very most qualified person. He is speaking this to Krishna, that Krishna, this is very difficult to control the mind. So we all have this same problem in our life, but the solution is given in the next slok by Lord Krishna. Okay, so we will see what is the solution. Slok number 35. So Lord Krishna is saying, Asamshayam Mahabhao Mano Durnigraham Chalam. Bilkul sahi bola aapne Arjun. No doubt whatever you are saying is correct. But then what is the solution? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagena cha griyate. What you do? You practice, you do abhyas, and you develop vairagya. You practice, do abhyas, and by detachment, you will be able to control this restless mind. So whenever we feel troubled with our mind, we should remember these beautiful words, different beautiful instructions by Lord Krishna given in Bhagavad Gita, that how to control the mind. through abhyas. We have to regularly practice doing this abhyas, meditation, reading Bhagavad Gita, attending satsang programs. This is a regular abhyas for us. And vairagya. We should understand everything is in temporary. Nothing is going to be with me forever. Why I am so much attached to these things? Okay, let me develop little vairagya. That actually superficially developing is very difficult. So once we develop our attachment to the higher principles, to the correct things, then the incorrect things detachment automatically happens. Nobody has to come and tell that, okay, you give up this thing. It is automatically happening. Okay, so this vairagya part will be taken care as soon as we practice sincerely and start applying Bhagavad Gita in our life. Okay, so this was about the sixth chapter, where about mind. This is one subject we tried to cover. I hope you all noted down some of the important shlokas and try to meditate on. So, any questions so far? Any comments? Are you all with me? Am I going very fast, or you are able to? You are with me. You can go a little slow also.
Yeah, absolutely fine, Prabhuji.
Fine. Okay.
Prabhuji, in this sixth chapter, there
Yeah.
is one 6.17.
Mm-hmm.
Even that is like a holistic view of the health system.
Okay.
Apart from the meditation and the practice regulating
Yes.
principle.
Is it that or which one? Just
Yeah,
open
yeah,
the.
same.
Okay.
So this is
Yes.
also yeah. This
Yes.
is also like he who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains practicing the yoga system. So
Yes.
this
Yes.
is
So,
equally important that in today's world, this is a very good learning that we need to regulate our eating habits, sleeping habit, recreation. Things should not go out of control. Everything should be regulated. And when we are able to do that, we can say that we are in a very good yoga system. And
very nice.
that helps in mind control as well.
Correct, Prabhuji. Very beautiful shloka. Thank you for pulling this up. Yes. So each and every shloka from Bhagavad Gita is a gem. We need to just pause a little bit, contemplate on it, and then see how relevant this is. Amongst the shloka, I see the most unregulated part in our life is the work. Nowadays, like work is taking the most part of our life, as if that is. So that's what Lord is saying. We have to be regulated. Huh? In what we are eating, how much we are sleeping. On weekends we just sleep for hours together. That's not. We have to regulate. Okay, recreation also we have to regulate, and work also we have to regulate. Thank you, Naresh Prabhu, for sharing this. Okay, so sixth chapter has many other topics very nicely covered. Actually, some of the shlokas towards the end also talks about what is the destination of unsuccessful yogi. But I think we have another 20 minutes to go, so we'll not go there. Okay, maybe we just come back to where we had left last. So second chapter. Okay, actually second chapter is considered as a summary of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so we covered the aspect of soul, which is given in this shloka. Then there are various other things like which is given, like what are the qualities of a person who is sthita pragya, how does he behave, what does he speak. Then the very famous shloka is there in the second chapter, karmanye vadhikaraste, 2.47 or 48. I think 47 or 48 is there. 47, correct. So where very famous karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbhur ma te sangosti akarmani. That you have rights to perform your duties, but you are not entitled to the results. Phaleshu. Now this is very important. This aspect is very. You have right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the result. This is very important. Most of the time we consider ourselves to be the cause of the results. ये मैंने किया, मेरे वजह से ये हुआ, and that is a whole problem. And most important thing, Lord is last me saying, never be attached to not doing your duty. Means you should not let go of your duties. You should not say, okay, abhi everything is under the control of Lord, so why I should act? I'll just sit down. Marathi में है ना वो, देरे हरी पलंगावरी, ऐसा So you just sit on the palang and let Lord give me everything. No, no, that is not like that. Lord is saying, no, you have to perform your duties. You have to perform your duties, and but you have the right to perform your duties, but you are not entitled to the fruits. Okay, so this we should always remember. So effort is in our hand, but the outcome of the efforts we should not dictate. We should see a higher power working on that, and then try to digest it in a proper perspective whenever success comes or when failures also comes. So success also, we should not be very elated and then say, oh man, I am like the on the top of the world, I am like, I am such a successful person and I know so much. No, no, that is not correct. And then when we fail, we should not be completely depressed and things like that. We should understand, okay, I have given my best, let Lord is deciding for me. Okay, so this is very important slok. Then there are so many shlokas. Actually, the second chapter is a very 72 shlokas are there. Okay, but this 63 and 64, maybe you can 62 and 63. This is two important shlokas where we should understand, how this process works. Okay, so 62 says that when, while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger arises. Okay? And then it says, from anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material field. So the everything starts from dhyayato vishaya pumsa, contemplation. Okay, even if we see something, then if we start contemplating on it, then we start getting attachment for it. So that's how all the advertisement starts, right? They flash in front of us again and again, again and again, and then we contemplate on that. Okay, ध्यायतो विषया पुंसा संगस्ते शुभ जायते संगात संजायते कामा. उससे कामनाएं उत्पन्न होती है. We develop lot of desires, and when those desires are not fulfilled, krodad abhijay, krodh, anger comes, and from anger delusion comes. From delusion our memory is bewildered, and when our memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost, and then we fall down. So this is a process which is very nicely articulated. You can go through. There are various other shlokas, so I'll just touch one more shloka from second chapter, a very favorite 2.70, which is giving a formula of how to achieve peace in our life. 2.70, 70. Yeah. So this shloka says that a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still. Okay, he only attains the peace. Okay, he only attains the peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. So this is very important. We get so many desires. Okay, it is like comparison is given like a river is flowing into the ocean. That kind of desires are flowing into all of us. Then, but we should remain still like an ocean. We should not get disturbed, okay, by all this desire, and then only we will be able to achieve peace. Okay, so this is the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Then third chapter talks about karma yoga. Okay, that very one of the shlokas we'll take from third. There are many others. Okay, which talks about 3.9. Can you go, Prabhuji, quickly? Yeah, so 3.9 is very important, where Lord says, Yajnatat karmanyatra karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samaj. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. So this is very important. So therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction. His satisfaction means for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. And in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. So this is like a Gurukilli, one of the how we should work. We should always work, as an offering to the Lord. And many other places, Lord says, even in ninth chapter, Lord says, Yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhoshi dadashi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you eat, whatever you give in charity, or whatever you're doing, you do it as an offering to me, with that consciousness that Lord, I am doing this for. So Gauranga Prabhu was a very senior brahmacharis from IIT. He was giving that once he was on the altar doing the puja, and then one person came with a boxing gloves. Okay, and he says, please, I want to offer this to Lord. So Gauranga Prabhu was very impressed that, हाँ भैया ये जो भी कर रहा है भगवान को पहले offering, and then I say, what you will do? So he says, I will offer it to Lord, and then outside I'll go and give prasad to everyone in terms of this boxing, wearing this boxing glove. So that was on a lighter side, what Gaurang Prabhu is saying. So that like a consciousness we should have, that whatever I am doing, I should do for the Lord. Okay. So working, okay, how I can work for the Lord? Okay, see, Lord has given me various responsibilities. He has given me a family, children, parents. Okay, so I have to nicely take care of their needs. Okay, so definitely we need to provide for their needs. There are society needs, there are nations needs. Okay, there are humanity, there are, by and large, people are struggling so much. So why can't we go out and help them? Okay, in our all small way. Okay, so everything, whether we work, whether we raise children, whether we taking care of our parents, everything we should say, Krishna, I know these children are bestowed to me. You have given them in my care. Okay, so I am now basically I'll take care of them as a gift from you. Okay, I am a caretaker. You are the real owner of everything. This house I am staying, okay, Krishna, this is your house. I am just here as a caretaker for few years. So this is a shloka which Prabhuji opened, 9th chapter, 27th verse. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Okay, so coming back to, so I think we will just pick a few other important shlokas. I think we will not be able to cover more than 4-5 shlokas more. So let's directly, I just wanted to give you another peace formula which is given in Bhagavad Gita, okay, which is the last shloka of 5th chapter. Where Lord says, Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Surudam Sarvabhutanam Nyatva Mam Shanti Vritsati. One person in full consciousness of me, knowing me to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material miseries. So this is very important aspect which Bhagavad Gita brings out very clearly, that we should understand that ultimately we are subordinate to the Lord. Okay, we are part and parcel of the Lord. Okay, what is the role of the part and parcel? Is to serve the Lord. Okay, so if we serve, then everything will be in place. If we ourselves try to become Lord, then the whole problem starts. Okay, then we can never attain the peace. So we'll discuss this in more detail. So we saw about Lord, we saw about Jeev. There is another very important topic, sorry, which is covered in Bhagavad Gita. I just wanted to give a glimpse on that, which comes in the 7th chapter. Okay, 7th chapter, if you open the 12, 13, 14 shlokas, it talks about Prakriti. Okay, what is Prakriti? Prakriti is consisting of the 3 modes of material nature. So there are 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. So I don't know, Nilesh Prabhu, if you have that picture where it is for this shloka, there is a picture in Bhagavad Gita where there are 3 modes and the strings are attached to the living entities, and then Lord is regulating, the 3, they are under the Lord. So try to find, if parallel, if you can show that picture. Okay. So what essentially is saying, this whole material nature or this Prakriti is about the, yes, this is the picture. Correct. See how these 3, they are goodness, passion, and ignorance, which is the energy of the Supreme Lord Krishna. And we are all tied up into these different modes. goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay, and we act according to those modes. The more we take association of a particular mode, then our whole behavior starts acting in that mode. Okay, so sattva gun, rajagun, and tamagun. Okay, so goodness, people are knowledge acquiring, they are quite peaceful, happy, and passion, lot of things to be done, very, a lot of work oriented. And tamasic, nothing to be done, just, lying, you know in the mode, or maybe, drinking and intoxicants. So this is all different types of modes, okay, which are there. Okay, so this is given in the 7th chapter, 12th and 13th and 14th shloka. Okay, so the most important shloka, how to get out of these three modes which we are binding. So that is the solution given in the 7th chapter, 14th shloka. Okay, so this is a very important shloka. You can note down this shloka, where Lord says, Daivi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratya. Lord is saying that this Daivi Shakti, Daivi Esha Gunamayi, ये mama maya, mama matlab meri maya, maya, this maya, this shakti is my energy, mama maya, and duratya, very difficult to overcome. So see the beauty of the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. The first line, Lord is saying these three modes of material nature, it is a divine energy of mind and very difficult to overcome. But then in the next line of the shloka, he also gives the solution. He says, Mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So those who surrender unto me, but those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So this is a solution also very nicely given in the Bhagavad Gita. So we should remember that we are in this material world under a very stringent grip of these three modes. And no matter how hard we try, whatever asanas we perform, we cannot get out of these three modes of the material nature. The only way to get out of these three modes of material nature is in this line which is given, those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. Now there is a different topic. What does it mean to be surrendered to the Supreme Lord? So there are different things, it is given in the Shastras. What does surrender mean? To follow what is favorable, to avoid what is not favorable. These are all symptoms of the surrender. Okay, so this we will discuss more as we jump into this things. Then there are so many other topics in the 7th chapter which is talking about demigod worships. How if somebody is worshipping a demigod, ultimately they are getting their benefits from the Lord only. So 7.20 to 23, this 4 shlokas talks about the demigod worship. So how somebody worships demigod and what the results it derives from the demigods are ultimately given by the Lord. Okay, but then whatever results they are asking from the demigods are very temporary, and it is considered as less intelligent to ask for such a result. Okay, so this is about the 7th chapter. 7th chapter is the transcendental knowledge. Okay, and the 8th chapter is how to attain this absolute. It's not sorry, attaining the supreme is the 8th chapter. So 7th chapter gives the knowledge about the supreme, knowledge of the supreme absolute, and 8th chapter talks about how to attain this supreme. So this is again very, very important chapter, because whatever we are trying to practice in this, ultimately it is to attain the supreme. That is our goal. Okay, so it is said that life is a preparation and death is the examination. So how we prepare in life is going to talk about, it is going to give the final outcome of what will be the during examination, how do we perform. Okay, so this 8th chapter, there are various questions which Arjuna asks. So there are some 8 questions which Arjuna asks in 8.1 and 8.2. So out of these 8 questions, 7 questions are answered by Lord in 8.3 and 8.4. Okay, but there was a last question which Arjuna asked, that how one can know you at the time of death. So that is what Lord explains in the whole chapter. So 8.5, if you open 8.5, 8.6, this is the 2 very important. So Lord says, Antakale cha mam eva smaran muktva kalevaram ya prayati samadbhavam yati nasti atra samshaya. And whoever at the end of his life quits his body remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So the whole sadhana, everything, whatever we are trying to do, chant the names of the Lord, read Bhagavad Gita, the ultimate goal is to remember the Lord at the last moment when we give up this body. And if we remember that, then we can attain to the kingdom of God. If not, then next shloka talks about that whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. So if we develop a consciousness like cats and dogs, then maybe after when we quit this body, next life we might get a body of a cat or a dog. Okay, if we do good things, we might get a higher planet body. If not, we might get a lower body. So that kind of stringent rules and science is there. This is not happening haphazardly. There is a proper science behind everything that is happening. Okay, so that's why then Lord is talking about 8.7, very beautiful shloka, which is very practical for us. So Lord is saying that Tasma Sarveshu Kaleshu Ma Manusmara Yuddhacha. He's saying, therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. Hmm? With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Okay, this is very, very practical thing. So if you read purport also very nice. Naresh Prabhu, can you read the purport? This is very beautiful. Short purport. Yes. Is it possible?
This instruction to Arjuna is very important for all men engaged in material activities. The Lord does not say that one should give up his prescribed duties or engagements. One can continue them and at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. This will free one from material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Krishna. By chanting Krishna's names, one will be transferred to the supreme planet Krishna Loka without a doubt.
So see how practical. We have to continue doing whatever we are doing, but we have to start thinking of Krishna by chanting his name, by remembering him. So there are 9 devotional processes which we'll see subsequently in this course. So using those 9 devotional processes, we can change our consciousness, align ourselves to remembering the Lord. Okay, so this is the 8th chapter. Then subsequent, there are many other important shlokas, but we will not deep dive now. It's already 1 o'clock. Is it okay if we continue for another 10 minutes? I just wanted to cover a few more key shlokas, maybe just a few one I'll cover. Nilesh Prabhu, is it okay? Can we take another 10 minutes? Sorry, we started a little late. That's fine. Okay, so we'll try to wind up in next 10 minutes. Okay. So then coming to the 9th chapter, which is the middle of the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, this is the middle, and this is known as the most confidential knowledge. Okay, so very, very important chapter. Okay, so there are so many things. One of the shloka we saw, right? Nilesh Prabhu showed 9.27, Yat Karoshi Yadashnasi. Then 9.10 is very important slok where Lord says, Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suryate Sachara. Everything is working under my superintendence. Material nature, which is one of my energies, working under my direction. It is not haphazardly working. So this is one of the important shlokas. Then I think 9.22 is another very, very important shloka. Part of this, you can see in the LIC logo. They have a logo Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. So ye actually originally coming from Bhagavad Gita. They took it from Bhagavad Gita, where Lord is saying that those who are always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So this kind of promise Lord is making in this chapter, so bold. In the 9th chapter is full of, Lord is giving so many promises to Arjuna. Okay, so very, very nicely. Then in another 33 shlok also he gives another promise, very beautiful. Not 30, sorry, 32. 32, can you? No, what? Sorry, I forgot. It's 31. Can you just go to 31? 31, where he says, He quickly becomes righteous and attains lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Kaunteya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. This is a Kaunteya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. This is a very promise. Lord is saying that whoever takes up to my devotion, whoever becomes my devotee, he is never perished. Now, when he talks about this perishing, he is not necessarily talking about this body. He is talking to us as a spirit soul. He will ensure that we are not lost. Once we take shelter of the Supreme Lord, He will ensure that we are directed properly. Even if we go here and there in between, He will ensure that we are back on track. So that kind of, assurity Lord is giving very nicely here. And in this chapter, the last shlok is a very, very important shlok, instruction from Supreme Lord. Okay. So in this shloka, Lord says, Man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vashyasi yuktevam atmanam mat parayanam. He's saying, engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. Now, this is a key message of Bhagavad Gita, the most important message. Why it is most important? Because this message, if we apply in our life, then we can really see the transformations in our life. And second thing is, every shloka of Bhagavad Gita is very, very important. But this shloka of Bhagavad Gita comes twice in Bhagavad Gita. Can you imagine? Bhagavad Gita, out of 700 shlokas, this is the only shloka which has been told to Arjuna twice. So how important it is. So we will see this second time also, this shloka, okay, as we go in the 18th chapter. Okay, so this is the 9th chapter. Okay, then one more shloka I want to take from 9th chapter. Sorry, Prabhu. Can you go to 9.26, I think? No, not 26. 26, yeah. Right. So this is a very simple. So how difficult it is to worship Lord? Not at all. We can very easily worship Lord. So how to worship Lord is saying very easy. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhakta prayachati. Tadaham bhakti upahartam ashnami prayatatmam. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. So nobody can say, I am very poor, I cannot do. It's very simple, right? You can get a flower, a leaf, a fruit somewhere and just offer. But the most important part is when we offer it with love and devotion. So then only the Lord accepts. Otherwise, even if we make the best of the things, with diamonds and gold, but if there is no love and devotion to the Supreme Lord, then he might not like it. Okay, so this is very important shloka again from the 9.26. Okay, so the 10th chapter again, it talks about the different opulences of the Supreme Lord. Okay, so you can just note down there are 4 shlokas which are like called as a Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita, like a gist of the Bhagavad Gita. There are 4 shlokas: 10.8, 10.9, 10.10, and 10.11. Okay, so these 4 shlokas are like a gist, Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita it is called. We will just cover one shloka out of this 4. So 10.10, can you go, Nilesh Prabhu? So this shloka says, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayantite. So Lord says, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, Tesham satata yuktanam, satat yukta hai wo log. कैसे युक्त है? भजताम प्रीति पूर्वकम, वो भज रहे हैं मुझे कैसे? प्रीति पूर्वकम, प्रेम से भज रहे हैं. So what do I do to them? I give them intelligence. ददामि बुद्धि योगम. मैं उनको बुद्धि देता हूं जिससे ये न माम उपयांति से, so that they can come to me. So this is the beauty. When we start engaging in this service, then automatically the Lord will give us the intelligence how to act, what decisions to take, what to do next. We don't have to get bogged down by. All we have to do is sincerely practice this process which is given in Bhagavad Gita in our life, and then the Lord who is sitting in our heart as Paramatma, he will definitely guide us through this process, and he will take us forward. He, as a loving father, is so much eager to connect with us. Okay, so he's happy when he sees a tuta futa effort also from us. So even if we do some, very minor effort, he is happy, and then he welcomes that kind of effort. So these are the four shlokas from 10th chapter. Then 11th chapter is about the universal form of the Supreme Lord, where Arjuna asked the Lord to show the universal form. So this chapter is complete about universal form, but you can go through the last two shlokas of this chapter also, very beautiful, where Lord says that only through bhakti one can know me. So 11.54 or 55, you see 54 says bhaktya ananya shakya. He's saying only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am. So this is a theme. If you see, even in 11th chapter, universal form also, you can see this theme. Okay. So the 12th chapter is the devotional service, which is the key. So now, so far, we have seen so much about the devotional service. So the 12th chapter is Bhakti Yoga. So here it starts with Arjuna questioning, which is there are so many paths. Okay, somebody might worship Lord in an unmanifested form. Somebody would worship in a personal form. So which one is better? So Lord answers that question, and that gives the different paths. What happens if somebody worships in unmanifested forms? Okay, but the crux of this chapters are two things: 12.8 to 12.12. These are the different steps where Lord says, okay, you completely attach your mind and intelligence on me. If you are not able to do this, then you do abhyas yo. Okay. Then if you are not able to do, so we'll just read maybe. So the 8th shloka says, just fix your mind upon me and engage all your intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. Then go to the next one where Lord says, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. Okay. Then next shloka, he says, okay, if you are not able to practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then just try to work for me. Okay, so concession. Then next shloka, he says, okay, if you are not able to work for me, then at least try to give up the results of your work. So see, Bhagavad Gita is accommodative. It is not saying aisa hi hona chahiye. Okay, this is the topmost level. Okay, if you are not able to do this, then try to do this, then try to do this. So that kind of levels are given in Bhagavad Gita. And the last few shlokas of 12th chapter are very important. Each of you should go through, because it shows what it takes to be dear to the Lord. So 12.13 onwards to 12.20. All these are different qualities which are given by Lord, which will make us dear to Him. So if we want to become dear to Lord, what we should do? We should be Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam Maitreya Karunaivacha. Adveshta means we should not be envious for any living entity. We should be a kind friend to all living entities. So that kind of qualities are given in 12.13 to 12.20. Okay. Okay, so this is like a devotional chapter. Then 13th chapter is starts where the Gyan Yoga starts, where more of an analytical study is given in the 13th chapter. What is this body? How Lord stays in this body as Paramatma, Kshetra Kshetrajna, nature, the enjoyer, and consciousness. Okay, then 14th chapter, we'll just go to we'll not cover any chapter. Yeah. So the 14th chapter is talking about again in detail about the three modes which we discussed, right? Sattva-gun, Rajagun, and Tamagun. So it is talking about these three modes in details. 15th chapter is very important, Purushottam Yoga, the yoga of the Supreme Person. So I think we already saw one shloka from this 15.7. Okay. There are various other shloka like 15.8, 9, where how a person changes the body. So that will get covered as part of the next session. So I will not touch upon this. Okay. I just wanted to cover up just couple of more shlokas. So yeah. So we will skip 16 again, the divine and demoniac nature. Very beautiful shloka. What are the characteristics of a divine person, and what is, how does a demoniac person thinks, is given in this. Then 17th is divisions of faith. Okay, there are different divisions, as we saw how somebody can worship in goodness, passion, ignorance. Okay, even the food one eats is in different modes. Okay, so that is given in the everything. The dan we do, the tapasya we do, the food we eat, everything is in different modes. So that is given in the 17th chapter. And then 18th chapter is like a conclusion. Okay, so here I just wanted to cover up some 3-4 shlokas. So can you go to 18.54, Prabhuji? Yeah. So here the Lord says that Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kangshati. Sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param. How can one attain the devotion to the Lord? So one who is thus transcendently situated at one realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is never lamenting or desires to have. He is equally disposed towards every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto. So this is a very important shloka. We'll discuss that, what it means. Na shochati na kangshati. We don't have to lament. And then next 55, Lord says that bhaktya mam abhijanati. He says, one can understand me as I am only by devotional service. Okay, so this is another very important shloka. So this is like conclusion. There, Lord is kind of coming, and I think in 61, can you go to the 60? Huh. So, okay, so this is Ishvara Bhutanam. So everything instructions is given to Arjuna. Okay, now in the 62, can you go to 62, Prabhu? Tameva Sharanam. Okay, can you come to 63, please? Okay, so this is the key shlok where Lord says, okay, मैंने अभी आपको पूरा instructions दे दिया. I have told you all the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, सारे योग बता दिए. Now what he is saying is yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. The last word of this shloka, if you see, yatha ichhasi tatha kuru. Okay, so he's saying, thus I have explained to you the knowledge, more confidential, and then do what you wish to do. So Lord is never, he's giving us this small independence, like he's giving us everything, all the inspirations, all the knowledge he's giving us, but he doesn't put a gun on our head and say that you do it like this only. He says, okay, now you do what I have told you everything. Now it is up to us how we want to act. So similar freedom he is giving to Arjuna also, that now you deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. So similarly, we also in our life have to deliberate on each and every shloka of Bhagavad Gita, at least to start with whatever important shlokas we have discussed today, and then we have to act accordingly. But then the final thing is still to come. See, after Lord has said that everything you do, abhi what you wish to do. But then again in the next shloka, 64th shloka, Lord says that because you are my dear friend, I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, the most confidential knowledge of all. Hearing this from me, hear from this from me, for it is for your benefit. अभी पूरा भगवत गीता बोल दिया और अभी बोल रहे हैं लास्ट में ये सुप्रीम इंस्ट्रक्शंस. तो जो 65 और 66 ये दो श्लोक है, they are like the supreme instructions of Bhagavad Gita. So this 18.65, if you see, this is a repeat shloka what we read from the 9th chapter, last shloka. This shloka is manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mam evashyasi satyam te pratijani priyose me. So first two lines are exact same as 9.34. Meaning is also same. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are my very dear friend. So this is very important instruction. Most say दो बार आया भगवद गीता में. So how important it is, right? And then next shloka is also very important, and the gist of the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshaishyami ma shuchah. He says, abandon all varieties of religions, whatever you have concocted, whatever so many religions you have, just surrender unto me. Just surrender unto. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions, do not fear. So this is the kind of gist, this two shlokas, 65 and 66. So after then, there are few more shlokas where Lord says that whoever gives this knowledge, who reads this Bhagavad Gita, worships me, that kind of. And then there is one shloka from Arjuna, I think 73, yeah, 73. This is a shloka spoken by Arjuna. So this shloka is the outcome of Bhagavad Gita. What is the outcome? Nashta moha smritir labdva tat prasada maya achyuta. Stitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. So this is the outcome of Bhagavad Gita. What is the outcome? Arjuna says, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. So whenever we are in illusion, after reading Bhagavad Gita, our illusion should be gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. We should again regain our memory, understand who we are and who we are not. And I am now firm. We should become firm and we should be free from doubt. And we should, he's saying, I am prepared to act according to your instructions. Okay, so I am now prepared to act according to your instruction. We should also be ready. This is an outcome. When we started with Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was completely lost, confused. He said, I don't know what has to be done. And at the end of Bhagavad Gita, he's saying, now I have regained my memory. I am now firm, free from doubt, and prepared to act according to your instructions. Okay, so this is an outcome. And we'll just cover the last shloka which was spoken by Sanjaya, last shloka of Bhagavad Gita, which says, Yatra Yogeshwaro Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhurti, Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. So Sanjaya says, wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also be certainly be opulence. There will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. That is my opinion. So this is the last shloka which Sanjaya speaks. So this is how the whole Bhagavad Gita, we just saw a glimpse. Sorry, actually, we couldn't cover many shlokas, but I don't think we can cover everything. It is not possible within 1.5 hours. Okay, but don't worry. This is like a starting thing. You can note down whatever shlokas and try to go on your own. After this course, definitely we will have a different session where we will go through these chapters in more detail, have more discussions, more orientations around this. Okay. So sorry, I have been taking talk too much of your time, but if there are any questions or comments, you can please share.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. Yes.
Prabhuji, yeah, can we have some lectures on karma? Like we have different
Yes.
karmas mentioned in Gita. So that
Yes.
is one thing where I am mostly confused. I mean, I am not able to differentiate between karma, vikarma, karma, sakarma.
Yes. Yes.
And then
Yes.
Lord always says, do all your karma and unto to offer it to me. And then sometimes it becomes sakarma, sometimes it becomes akarma. So which is I am bewildered in this. So if we can have some one session or maybe some of your few 1/2 an hour lecture on that would be helpful.
Definitely, Shashi bro. We'll definitely try. Okay, there is this karma is one of the important aspects as you mentioned, and I think just to give a short one-liner, I would just say, and then maybe definitely we can discuss in more detail. I can have a 1/2 an hour dedicated on this karma. Okay, so as you correctly point, there are three: karma, vikarma, and akarma. Okay, so there are good karmas. Okay, where pious activities which we say where we get good results, and then there is a vikarma, which is impious activities, where we get bad results for that. Okay, but beyond this karma and vikarma, there is a akarma. Akarma means doing the activities for the Lord. So what we saw those two shlokas, right? Yat karoshi yad ashnasi, whatever you do it is an offering for me. So whenever we do this, then it becomes an akarma. Okay, so there are no good or bad results, or there are no good and bad outcomes of that. So what is the benefit? If we do some good activities, okay, then what happens? We have to basically come back and take birth to, get the benefit of all those good karmas. And bad karmas, we have to suffer miserably. So both are binding. But when we work for the Lord, then those does not have any reactions. Okay, and they are completely beyond. So we can transcend this material world and completely go to the kingdom of God. So that is the benefit of the akarma. So definitely, sorry, actually, you're right. It is a big subject matter. We'll try to cover it up separately for sure. Okay, Shashibu. Yeah. Any
Thank
other
you,
points?
Prabhuji.
Yeah, yeah. So that I think will come next to next week. Correct. Yes. Any other questions, comments?
Prabhuji, just a curiosity.
Yes, Harish Prabhu.
Because you said all these 18 chapters and with 700 slokas cannot be dealt in 1.5 hours. So in the war, how much time did Arjuna took to understand this?
Very nice question.
Seriously, so that means we are so, so I think, I don't know, we really don't understand in 1.5 hours.
Exactly. Very nice point, Harish Prabhu. I appreciate really. So you're right. See, Lord told this in around an hour, Prabhuji. You're right. And that's what I was telling. Arjuna's qualification, you can imagine, right? Within 1 hour, he understood the complete Bhagavad Gita and he took a decision. And then
Right.
there are scholars all over the world who are spending their life understanding Bhagavad Gita
Yeah.
and it is
Yeah.
not so.
Yeah,
So yes,
I was just wondering, we take so many years to understand the basic
yes,
part of
yes.
Gita, and then he was so intelligent, he took almost an hour.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct, correct. So that
Thank
gives a
you.
glimpse on his qualification. You're right. Yes,
Yeah,
very
thank you.
nice.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That's really, that actually shows us, where you are and where these guys were.
Correct, correct. Yes, Prabhuji, very correct.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
So we
Thank you.
have a long way to go, Prabhu. Yes. So, but yes, but I think the beauty about Bhagavad Gita is not that we should understand all the 700 shlokas. The
Yeah.
beauty of Bhagavad Gita is that if we understand even the one shloka and implement it in our life, then our
Hmm.
life will be transformed. So that is the
Yeah.
beauty. So
Yeah.
since
Truly.
it is an instruction of the Lord, any instruction is as good as Lord. Okay, so that is the beauty. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Prabhuji. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Any other points, comments? Okay, I think we are already half an hour beyond the schedule, so I think we can stop here. And if there are any comments or questions, you can note it down, and then maybe next Saturday, Sunday, we can discuss those in more detail. Okay. So I
Nile,
think, yeah. Sorry.
I have one request to Nilesh Prabhu. If somebody can, like Nilesh Prabhu, somebody can record the session and then put it on the WhatsApp group, so we can like go again and again. Like
Yes.
yes,
Yes, Roji. Yesterday's session was recorded and I had sent the link, and today's session is also recorded. So
okay.
I'll share the link.
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
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 It will be available in YouTube, right,
Yes,
Nilesh Prabhu?
yes, 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 yes.
Okay.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Roji.
Yes.
Prabhuji.
Yes, Harish Prabhu, tell me.
Actually, I guess sometimes you feel as if, when you're saying something, explaining, sometimes you really feel so, drowned in it as if you're sleeping. So, what does that indicate? Does that indicate that it is going in our subconscious mind? How does that, you feel sometimes, it is so heavy so that you tend to sleep and then you again get up.
This question is Harish Prabhu addressed to B.
Yes, Nile.
Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I don't know what maybe the camera and the network is making it that way look. Okay, so that's why we have these sessions more online actually in the temple where we can
Okay.
see each other and understand each other. I think
Yeah.
we can contribute this more to the uh, maybe network or bandwidth that you might be seeing some lag or something like that. There is
Okay.
nothing like that, Puji. It is like uh, It's normal. Like I'm not at that advanced stage where I go into a, a trance or
Yeah,
I'm
some
a,
of
like
them.
a
Yeah,
new starter, like trying to understand a little bit on Bhagavad Gita myself.
sometimes, Prabhuji, sometimes I have seen, not with you, but with most of the people, during chanting, continuous chanting, if we do half an hour, 1 hour in a group, that is the time this most of us, go through that stage.
Yeah, so
You, you,
yeah, I was thinking the same thing because if the way you are explaining, you actually tend to get us into trance.
No, Brother. I think like there are two things, Harish Prabhu. What I
Yeah.
feel is we need to see. We all are like beginners now. Okay,
Okay.
we have just started, and initial stage, yes, Lord actually gives a glimpse of the infinite potencies which are hidden there. Okay, so he gives us a glimpse where we do feel sometimes out of the word, and that kind of ecstasies can come as a glimpse. But by
Okay.
and large, because of our conditioned nature, we have so many things to overcome. Okay, it is more that we should be alert, and we should see that I am always, we should feel that I'm a new, and I am unqualified to get this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. I'm
Hmm.
unqualified to understand, and that kind of mood when we have, then we really get the mercy of the Lord and we understand it. Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
we should never feel that I'm very advanced, or I'm advancing, or I'm feeling great. Even if it is coming, we should have it very personal with ourselves, and it is more between Lord and us, Lord and that devotee. Okay, so we should
Sure.
not try to judge others also. At the
Hmm.
same time, in our life also, we should always feel that I have a long way to go. That's the correct mood to get more of Bhagavad Gita.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thanks a ton.
So Nilesh, we'll stop here. I think it's already 1:30, beyond 1:30.
Yes,
So thank you all. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much for your time, and request you to go through this shlokas. And if you have any questions, please come in the next